For Pinochet and his co-conspirators, fear of a split made for some anxious moments. Colonel Alejandro Medina was on his way to rendezvous with the general.
We were heading east along the main road, and suddenly we saw two Air Force jets turning and diving and firing with machine guns and rockets. This came as a real shock, so I quickly ordered my convoy to stop and prepare for aerial attack. But fortunately they were on our side. They were firing at radio transmitters, broadcasting announcements on behalf of Allende's government.
All such coup operations were being secretly coordinated from the Ministry of Defense just across the road from La Moneda. Arriving here to take charge of radio propaganda for the coup was Federico Willoughby.
You could feel the sense that some people was doing something the other people didn't know. Because when I approached the guard, he said, "What do you want?" But somebody else from behind said, "No, don't worry, he will go with me to the 6th floor." When I got to the 6th floor, I found that there was inner defenses, protections and guards and people armed, trenches inside of the building. And also inside there were installations for communications and other things that were independent from the building.
The conspirators in the Ministry of Defense were in constant contact with General Pinochet at his base on the edge of Santiago. Here he had been joined by Colonel Alejandro Medina.
He was giving out orders and making sure they were being acted on. And he could be furious one minute and quite relaxed the next. But he was exactly what we needed, a man who said things and got them done.
Pinochet was keen to get the coup over with quickly and had become frustrated that Allende had not already stepped down. His order to speed up the operation was intercepted by an amateur radio enthusiast.
Petición incondicional, no gubernamental. Petición incondicional. Bien, conforme. Rendición incondicional. Había seguridad física y enseguida se le va a pasar pausa más. Conforme. En la FK ya como toda la hora. Conforme.
The offer of safe conduct out of Chile was made to President Allende.
He answered the call surrounded by a group of people. And finally he said, "Up your poto," which is a very popular saying here in Chile. It means up your ass, because obviously he wasn't going to surrender.
General Pinochet responded to Allende's refusal to leave Chile by sending troops into the center of Santiago. In La Moneda, President Allende made contact with the last pro-government radio station still on the air to address the nation.
He was sitting on a chair at his desk, his great presidential desk.
I was near his office where we had formed a small semicircle, and we listened from there.
La última oportunidad en que me pueda dirigir a ustedes. Trabajadores de mi patria, tengo fe en Chile y su destino. Superará otros hombres este momento gris y amargo donde la traición pretende imponerse. Sigan ustedes sabiendo que mucho más temprano que tarde, de nuevo abrirán las grandes alamedas por donde pase el hombre libre. Viva Chile, viva el pueblo, vivan los trabajadores.
The presidential bodyguard now prepared for an armed defense of La Moneda in the hope that some military units would side with the government and come to their aid. Isidro Garcia and 5 comrades were directed to provide covering fire from the nearby Ministry of Public Works.
As soon as we arrived, we immediately started looking for the best vantage points, and I think it was the 6th or 7th floor. And from there, we could see everything clearly.
Meanwhile, back in La Moneda, the president was preparing for a battle.
My father was perfectly clear and absolutely understood that the situation was going to turn into a fight, a hard fight, a fight until the end.
With his machine gun in hand, Allende took his place alongside his bodyguards, one of whom was Juan Ocez.
He was an excellent shot, had great aim, Allende. He knew how to use his weapons. He was very good with the gun that Fidel Castro gave him. And so he was also taking up the defense of La Moneda. I saw him with his weapon, and I saw his frame of mind.
The 24 defenders in La Moneda had been promised support in nearby buildings from armed political sympathizers.
Supposedly, about 250 people were going to arrive to back us up. But nobody arrived. Absolutely no one.
At this moment, the army brought up their tanks and surrounded the palace. An announcement was made that unless La Moneda was cleared, an attack would commence in 2 minutes.
It was like it was the end. We were going to die here.
We were defenseless. What's going to happen here? They're going to kill us. We were surrounded by tanks. It was like being up against a whole army.
Diagonally across from us, we could see a group of soldiers crouched down behind a tank. Of course, we were crouched down too at the window, firing, not seeing what we were firing at, because that calmly aiming stuff is for the films. Because the quantity of bullets coming through the window was incredible. So you get down and you think you're going to die. You feel the bullets fly by and you think one's going to come and hit you right in the forehead.
We got out of the vehicles to make for the objective, and in the advance we received shots from all sides. And so, at every street corner, we had to run like hell, so as not to present an easy target.
Well, I crawled along the hall and got to the secretary's office. And there I saw the president lying down with a machine gun, shooting towards Constitution Square. And that's when I grabbed him by his feet and pulled him away from the window, because he was exposed and could easily have been shot.
When the gunfire got too heavy on one floor, we changed up or down a floor. And that confused them a lot, because from the moment we changed, their position had to change too. But it was much easier for us than it was for them.